So today, I think let's continue from parliamentary. We'll do where to finish today because government is very broad. We've done federal system of government. We've done the unitary system of government. And now we're moving to parliamentary system of government. And then we'll talk about confederal, monarch, republican form of government, and then military. And then we're done for these topics. So today we'll talk about the parliamentary system of government. Parliamentary system of government, though they no longer operate it in Nigeria. But then the parliamentary system of government is defined as a system of government in which the head of state is distinct the head of from the head of government. Both offices are fused. Like when we talk about the presidential system of government, we talk about one person having both authority, both the executive, one person acting as the executive and both the head of state. But in a parliamentary system of government, it's actually different because in a parliamentary system of government, they are distinct. They are distinct. We have the head of government and the head of state. They are two different people. So I think we've done with this. We're done with this. But let me just recap. So there are two distinct people. Now the head of state exercises ceremonial function. Then the prime minister is the head of government and he exercises executive functions. But then the queen is the head of state. Then in 1963, we had the president acting as the head of state, and then the prime minister as the head of government, removing the queen, if you can remember your constitution very well. Now, the features of the parliamentary system of government is that the head of state, that's one of the features of parliamentary system of government. The head of state is either the queen or president. We were having the queen before 1963, where the queen was later removed, and then the president was now acting as the head of state, as the head of state. But then in 1979, we had our first presidential system of government, which is both the a single person acting as the head of government and the head of state. So sometimes it's really confusing. They may ask, when did Nigeria start practicing presidential system of government? And some persons would be like, okay, 1963. No, though the president was there, but the powers were still distinct. But in 1979, that was when the power were they come together, having both the head of state and the head of government concentrated on one single person. Now, the head of government is another feature of the parliamentary system of government. Now, the prime minister is the head of government and he exercises executive functions. That's his function. He exercises executive functions. Then, not popularly elected. They are not popularly elected. Now, the prime minister is not really popularly elected. He's appointed by the president or queen. So nobody comes out to vote that, okay, this is the person we want. No, the president is the one appointing the prime minister to be the head of state, or the queen will make that appointment. And now, fusion of power. The prime minister and his ministers, all of them forming the executive, their power are what? Are fused, except the legislature. If you come to when we talked about presidential system of government, we said we have the executive acting separately, we have the legislature acting separately, and we have the the judiciary acting separately. But in terms of parliamentary system of government, both the executive and the legislature, their power are fused. They are, they are together, except the judiciary. It's not part. The judiciary is not part of them. It's not together with them. So if one person is acting or functioning as executive and also working as a legislature, the judiciary is totally different. It's totally different. So when power is fused, legislature and executive, judiciary is separate when it comes to parliamentary system of government. Then we have collective responsibility. Collective responsibility. Now, the executives, they are responsible for decision taken by them collectively. Unlike in presidential system of government where the executive makes decision like that. No, they are collectively responsible for any decision that is made. Then a vote of no confidence. In presidential system of government, we have impeachment. Yeah, we impeach the president. But in terms of a parliamentary system of government, is a vote of no confidence is passed. So if a vote of no confidence is passed, then the executive can be removed from office by the legislature. Mm. So if the legislature they pass vote of no confidence, then the executive is removed. Now we move to the merits of parliamentary system of government. We've talked about the collective responsibility. Take note, if you're talking about the features actually comprises of both the merits and demerits. Then when you come to the merits, that's when you split. So if you talk the merits of parliamentary system of government is collective responsibility, like we said, like I earlier said, that the members of the executive are collectively responsible for any decision they make, any decision they make. So that's collective responsibility. The absence of conflict. There is no really conflict because since power is fused, there's no conflict among them, make decisions and then they agree by those decisions because their powers are fused. So you see the same people likely to make decisions and everybody agree upon. Then we have close monitoring. They monitor each other. They monitor each other because since it's fused, it's very easy to actually monitor each other. Then we have fast decision making. Fast decision making. In the presidential system of government, before they finally, when the legislature they make the bill, they have to give it to the president, of which the president can either veto or agree to a bill. Veto. But in terms of this parliamentary system of government, it's easy to make decisions. You don't have to argue much about decisions making. Then dedication and efficiency. Dedication and efficiency is there, very efficient. Then we have the demerits of parliamentary system of government, removal of the executive. That's one of the, remember I said a vote of no confidence is usually passed. And when that vote of no confidence is passed, then the executive is removed from office. So the executive can be removed from office anytime the legislature passes a vote of no confidence. In terms of parliamentary system of presidential system of government, it's actually very difficult to pass to impeach the president. Yeah. Maybe as time goes on, we'll talk about how to impeach a president from office, president or vice president. So impeachment in federal presidential system of government is usually very difficult because you need two-thirds of the house and most time, you don't even succeed in impeaching the president because it's very difficult to impeach a president. The manner at which you impeach a president is also the same way you want to create a new state or amend the constitution. So it's very difficult to actually get two-thirds of the House to actually impeach or change the or amend the constitution. But in terms of parliamentary system, can just when there is vote of no confidence, it's not also easy, it's kind of really very difficult. But then that's how they are removed. Then not popularly elected. The people, it does not really have the concept of the poll majority, just minority. So in the parliamentary system of government, the the prime minister is not popularly elected. It's chosen by who? By by the president or the queen. The president or the queen. But in terms of presidential system of government, the president is usually popularly elected. Then the prime minister is appointed as the head of state in parliamentary system. He's not popularly elected. If the president is popularly elected, the prime minister is not. He's appointed by the president. Now, fusion of power. Fusion of power. Their powers are fused. Their power are fused. So we go to weak government. Weak government. So in terms of parliamentary system of governments, like he said, a coalition government is an indication of no clear majority. Now the winner from any of the parties generally elected. So a weak government could actually result to the state's not really working well. Because now if there is no majority of the people actually appointing the prime minister, there's a tendency that things might not even go well because people might not be pleased with the decisions that are made because these people are not really popularly elected. Then we have collective responsibility. Yeah, they take decisions. Any decisions that they make is collectively, and everybody's responsible. Even if you don't partake in that decision, you are still bound by that decision made by the House. Yeah, we go to federal. Do you have any question from the parliamentary system of government? So we could move to federal system of government. Hello. Now, if you talk about the presidential system of government and the cabinet system of government, because the parliamentary is also known as the cabinet system of government. So we're going to talk about, can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we can hear you. The difference between the presidential system of government and the parliamentary system of government, I don't know who can try. From the explanation we had last week and now, what is the difference between the presidential system of government and the parliamentary system of government? Any attempt?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, when you talk about the presidential system of government, one of the basic difference is that the president can be impeached, while in the aspect of parliamentary system of government, there is the aspect of vote of no confidence.
That's excellent. Who else can try? Who else want to try? Okay, like what he just said, he's actually very correct. In terms of presidential system of government, the president is impeached, while in cabinet system, which is the parliamentary system of government, the president, there is no vote of no confidence is usually passed. Then the executive president is both head of state and government. But in terms of parliamentary system of government, the queen or the president is the head of state. Then the prime minister is the head of
Yeah.
government. Then another difference is that the people elect the executive in a presidential system of government through popular ballots. You cast your vote. Everybody, majority, have to just vote for a president to be put in place. But in terms of parliamentary system of government, it's not like that. The leader of the party that won the election is appointed as the prime minister. So when the president is popularly elected, the prime minister is picked from where? from the party that won the election. The leader of the party, the leader of the party that won the election is actually appointed. So there is no way anybody will come and say, okay, we want to cast our votes. No, it just appointed, they picked, it's appointed by the president. Then in presidential system of government, like we said, the individual responsible for any ministerial work, like the executive, you have the functions of the executive is actually different from the functions of the legislature and then the judiciary. But in terms of um, parliamentary system of government, collective responsibility is there, except the judiciary is not, since the judiciary is not part of them, is not fused together with the both the executive and the legislature, but they make decision collectively. Anything that they want to do, they come together and make decision collectively. Whether you are there, you don't want to make, or you agree or not, as far you are part of them, it's bound. You want to agree, like you agree to any decision that they make because it's a collective decision making. Then in the presidential system of government, the the ministers are not part of the legislature, but in the parliamentary system of government, the prime ministers and his ministers are part of the legislature. Then the in terms of presidential system of government, the constitution is supremacy of the constitution, supremacy. But in the parliamentary system of government, there is no there is parliamentary supremacy, not the constitution, not the constitution. So those are actually the difference between the presidential system of government and the legislative the parliamentary system of government. Now we move to confederal government. Confederal government. Now, confederal, when we talk about confederal may be defined as a league of sovereign states with a loose political arrangement in which autonomous state comes together to form a union. Now, I can give a simpler example so that at least it will stick. Now, confederal state is a system where independent countries or region comes together to work as a group, but each one keep its own power and independence. It's a system of where independent countries come together to work as a group. And if you understand, it's a system of government where independent countries come together to work as a group, but each one keep its own power and independence. They are not tied together. They are not bound to be one person and the rest. So the features of confederal system of government. Now consultation is made among themselves before taking independent action. They make consultation among themselves. They don't have to come and just declare something. No, they have to consult each other. Then we have loose union. Confederation is a loose union of sovereign states. Like we said, independent countries come together to form region, to form union, to form a group. Mhm. Then we have no effective executive authority. No effective executive authority. Members only send delegates to center to discuss issue common to them. Now, this example of confederal system of government, we have the AU, which is African Union. We have the European Union, which is EU. We have the United Nations organizations. All these, they come together to form confederal states, confederal governments. Unstable political system, that's one of another features of the confederal, which is the breakaway of member states. Any member can just leave anytime. It's not compulsory that they are tied down to stay. They can break away. And then they have single government. There is a single government. Citizens have to obey only one single government, and that is the government of their own state. So they have to obey the government of their own state. Then another features is that weak center of government. Now it has limited power. It has limited power. So it actually does what the members of the state allows. Then we have another features is okay, cooperation on common issues. Yeah. Now member state they work together on areas like defense, like trades, like foreign policies. They come together to agree on decisions like that. Now we have the merits of confederal system of government. Merits of confederal system of government. We have control over their internal affair, obedience to one government, which we stated in the features. Like I say, if you want to talk about features, you add both merit and demerit. If you're talking about merits, you split. So if they say features of this, you just know, oh, in features you're adding this and this to get your features. And when it comes to merit and demerit, you can actually split them to know, okay, these are the merits of this and these are merits of this. So we have obedience to one government. Like I said, they obey one government, which is the government, the governor of their state, the government in their state, their own state. That's the person they are bound to obey and the rest. So another features is equality of states. Equality of state. Equality actually exists among states, making up a confederation. Now, no state can actually claim superiority over the other. Cannot say, oh, because we are together, Nigeria is more powerful than India or India. They don't claim superiority, or because Nigeria, British, US gained independence before Nigeria, therefore they are superior to them. There is no superiority over the other. Then we have consensus, like actions are taken by members of states of a confederation based on consensus earlier reached. So make decisions and then they agree on something. Then we have unity of states, independent states, both big and small, rich, poor, they are brought together for one particular purpose. Whether you are rich, whether you are a poor country, there's no difference between them when it comes to confederal states, because they come together for one purpose, to make decisions. So there's no discrimination among them. Now we'll talk about the demerit of um, confederal government. When we talk about the confederal government demerit, we have instability. Instability. It's not really stable. There's a loose union. This one can say, I'm no longer interested, and it can leave. So no effective central authority. Now, why is this? Is because a sovereign power cannot be located in a confederation. There are different loose independence countries coming together. So no central authority. Remember, in the features we said each citizens obey their what? Only one single government, which is their state government. So no effective central authority. The breaking of union, like we said, they can break, they can just decide to, they're not interested and leave. Then delay in affecting issues. It actually takes time to make decisions. Different countries, most people want to act as if they know. So it will be difficult for them to actually agree on a particular decision, because different people want to bring their opinions and the rest. So, and then we have loose union. Confederation is a loose union of sovereign states, different states coming together to form confederation. Then I will go to monarchy. Let me see. Monarchy. I believe we've all heard about monarchy. So when we talk about monarchy may be defined as a type of government by one individual, and this individual may be king or queen or emperor. And we have the constitutional monarchy. Now, a constitutional monarchy is one that is subject to legal limitation, while we have the absolute monarchy, which is not subjected to legal limitation. So if you say monarchy, we have the king, the queen, like what the Britain they operate. Like we have King Charles. Okay. So that's a monarchical system of government. Most time we mistake this with parliamentary too. But in terms of parliamentary system of government, even though the queen is a head of state, we still have the prime minister as a head of government. So Nigeria did not in any way operate a monarchical system of government, but they operated in a parliamentary system of government, and then republican system of government, and then presidential system of government. Now, what's the characteristics of a monarchy? Now, one of the characteristic of a monarchy is ownership of government. Ownership of government. The government of a country is the head of a king, emperor, or queen. The head, like just the way we have in UK. It was Queen Elizabeth, and when she died, her son took over. So that's a monarchical state. Then we go to age-long form of government, unlike presidential system of government and parliamentary system of government, whereby the tenure have to expire. In terms of monarchical system of government, there is no expiring date. Like it's age long. If the king is living for 100 years, he'll still be there. Remember when King Elizabeth died? People were actually complaining, oh, she's very old. Now his son is old. So how many years will his son even rule before he died? Because she actually stayed for a very long time. So it's most time you watch all those movies and you see that some wicked sons want to take over and kill their father just to rule. So it's a age-long form of government. Age-long form of government. As long as the king is still alive, he continue to be in the position, continue like that until he dies. Then when he dies, another person take over. Maybe the son. Say we have hereditary, yes. Unlike parliamentary system of government and presidential system of government, you cannot say, okay, like now Tinubu cannot say, okay, because he's a president, when he leaves tomorrow, he will put his son there. No, he cannot. But in a monarchical system of government, it's hereditary. Like the children, one of them can take over, like we have in UK, then or maybe one of the family members like that. There are no constitution limitations. There's no constitution limitations. Um, so absolute monarchy. In terms of absolute monarchy, the rule has no constitutional limitation, but in terms of constitutional monarchy, it has. But absolute monarchy, no go area. Then check and balances. Check and balance. In some form of monarchical government, e.g., the constitutional monarchy, the ruler is under check by the constitution. Since it has constitution, they check the power of the king. But in absolute monarchy, they don't. They don't. Now, forms of we have the advantage, the forms, advantage, and disadvantage of monarchical system of government. Now, forms of monarchical, we have constitutional monarchy and absolute monarchy. Now, the power is regulated by the constitution when it comes to constitutional monarchy. Power is regulated. But when it comes to absolute monarchy, there's no constitution, there's no established constitution. The king ruled as the head of government and the head of state, like that. Head of government, head of state. So he both have these two distinct power to rule, and is not even controlled by the constitution. There's no limitation to his power, there's no check to his power. He does whatever he wants. Then we'll go to advantages. The advantages of monarchical government is that unity and orderliness. Orderliness. Both are necessary to every stable political system. So there is orderliness, there is unity in a monarchical system of government. Then harmonization is also the same as unity too. It's also the same. They work together to prevent any conflict. The protector, the protect is some like circumstance. The king may serve as a protector of the people, as a protector of the people. Like because in terms of this absolute system of government where there is no check and balance, nothing, because power is just in one particular person. The king can actually act in all functions, can act protecting the people from um, other nations. Then we have the okay for historical and practical reasons. In a monarchical system of government, it's actually historical, hereditary. Like when you talk about hereditary of the king, it has been in existence. So it just follows suit like that. It continues because since it has to be hereditary, it passed on like that, like that. So it's actually historical. Now move to the disadvantage of monarchical system of government. Bad rulers, that's one of the disadvantage. Disadvantage in some system of government. You see, the rulers are actually very selfish. They are very wicked, and since it's like a long age something, you cannot even remove them, and they continue to just be in power and control everything under them without anybody actually saying anything. Now we go to despotism. A monarchy could be despotic, to keep the people weak so that they may be unable to resist him. Like the people, they don't have power, they cannot say anything to the king because he has all the power. If you say this, if you utter any words, you can be killed, and the rest, they are governments like that, they are kings like that. Then we move to the republican form of government. Sorry, I'm trying to be fast so that we can finish this topic in time and move to another new one. So we'll talk about Republican governments. Republican government. Um, I think that was 1963. That was the first Republican government in Nigeria, Republican constitution in Nigeria. So we practice Republican system of government. So a Republican form of government can be defined as a sovereign state headed by a president elected for a fixed term of office. Unlike a monarchy, succession to the office of the head of state is non-hereditary but elective, like I said before. Even when the queen is there, it's not hereditary. It's what? It's they elect they elect their representative. They elect their representative. Now I think Nigeria practiced this in 1963 and 1966. 1963 and 1966. That was the Republican Constitution. So Nigeria actually succeeded in four republic. We have 1963 Republican form of government, like that. The first Republican form of government. We have second Republican form of government, like that, like that. So they succeeded in four republic. Now we'll talk about the characteristic of the presidential system of government. But before we move, I want to ask what was the second Republican Constitution? What year was the second Republican Constitution? 1979.
That was 1963.
Hmm? The second Republican form of
Second.
is it second?
1963.
Second.
Nine,
Is it not 19?
yes,
1963 now.
1979. 1979. We have the we have the Independence Constitution, which is 1960. Then we have the first Republican Constitution, which is 1963. Then the second is 1979. Now, in the First Republic, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe was elected as president. That was 1963. That was the First Republic. So in the First Republican system, it was Dr. Nnamdi that was the president, and he acted as well the ceremonial head of state. Then the prime minister as was the head of government. So in the Second Republic, 1979 to 1983, Alhaji Shehu Shagari, people should note this down. You can actually find them in objective, was elected executive president. So if they ask you who was the first president, it's actually very confusing because in terms of the first Republican form of government, it was Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe acted as president, but not really executive president. I don't know if you understand. Because they may ask, who is the first president of the country? Who is the first president of the country? People will actually say, oh, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Dr. Nnamdi. But that was during the first Republican form of government, whereby he acted as the head of state. And then the prime minister acted as the head of government. Now, where the president actually now exercised both powers, it was in 1979 Constitution. So, in the Second Republican, the first president to actually exercise executive power is Alhaji Shehu Shagari. That's the first president to exercise both executive power. I don't know if you understand.
Yes.
So he acted as both head of state and head of government. Both head of state and head of government. So most time the questions are actually very confusing because they may ask, who is the first president of the country? Yeah, you can actually, it's correct when you say Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. But then was he acting as executive president? No, he wasn't. He was just acting as the ceremonial head of state. That's it. He was acting as the ceremonial head of state. Sorry. Now we'll talk about the characteristics of Republican form of government. Now, popular representation. Popular representation is a government based on popular representation. Everybody, different interests in the society are represented by elected representatives. Now we have the popular election. Popular election. Now, succession to actually different position is due to what election they elect. They don't like the parliamentary system of government where they appoint. No, they actually elect those in office when it comes to Republican system of government. Then we have periodic elections. Elections are usually periodic. Periodic election, like 4 to 5 years, like that, they elect their president. Could be 4 years, it could be 5 years. Then the rule of law. When you talk about the rule of law, it actually means supremacy of the law. Nobody is above the constitution. Nobody is above the constitution. So in a Republican form of government, that's what is it. There is rule of law. That is the supremacy of the constitution. A ruler must abide to those rules stated in the constitution. So there is nothing like anybody is above anybody. Everybody is bounded by the constitution. Then we have terms of office, which is also the same as periodic election where you live 4 to 5 years. So terms of office could be fixed term, like 4 years, 5 years, like that. Then we move to military government, the military government, military government.
Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Yeah.
I want you to clarify something on this republic. Are we not in the Fourth Republic? Because
As in how?
when you are talking about the second republic, because I'm thinking maybe the first republic is 1960, second republic 1963, third republic 1979, then the fourth republic 1999. Now, because you asked a question, and
Yes,
my,
but there is no first, there is no, 1960, 1960 was not first Republican government.
okay,
Continue. I can hear you.
but are we in the what republic are we now presently?
We're in the fourth republic, which is the fourth Republican constitution.
Then can
There
you
is no
break it?
fifth.
How come? No, can you break it? How come we are the fourth? Because you said in 1960 it's not the first
Okay.
republic.
In 1960, that was when Nigeria gained her independence. I don't know if you understand. So in that
Yes.
1960, we were operating parliamentary system of government. So we call that constitution the Independence Constitution of 1960. Instead of we
Mm-hmm.
being under those European colonial people, whereby they rule us, they make decisions for us. Now we are independent. That was why they said independent constitution. This constitution, we are drafting it ourselves because now we are no longer under any colonial masters. That's why we said it's the first independent constitution. Don't know if you understand. Then we now move to the first republican form of government. Now, mind you, in the independence constitution, we were actually operating the parliamentary system of government. And the queen was still in charge. The queen was still there controlling. And yet we say we are what? Independent, isn't it? Then
Mm-hmm.
that was when we now moved to the Republican form of government, 1963. That was the first Republican form of government, 1963. Now, the first Republican system of government now has a new constitution. The head of state now became the president, our own person. That is Nnamdi Azikiwe, instead of the queen. So the queen is removed. So when you talk about republic, it actually means we have authority over ourselves. The queen is no longer is no longer ruling us. We are the ones ruling ourselves. So this constitution continues till 1999. Mind you, this constitution has been amended in 2011. I don't know, 2011 thereabout, but it's still the fourth republican form of government, form constitution. So we have the 1999 Republic. So we have 1960 Independence Constitution. We have the 1963 First Republican form of government. We have the 1979 Second Republican form of government, whereby we'll now make final decision to like, okay, let's now make this government executive so that he will be both the head of state and the head of government. Don't know if you understand. Then it continues like that, but as it continues, different changes were coming up. Now moving to the second Republican form of government. They're saying Republican first is not 1963. 1963 is independent. Now this first, it means this is the first constitution whereby we are ruling ourselves, whereby a member, somebody is picked from Nigeria to actually rule us, whereby the king or the queen is no longer the head of the country. We are making decisions on our own. So those decisions can't. First Republic, these are Second Republic, Third, Fourth Republic system of government and constitution. So when you move to 1979, we have different things came up, different um delegation were made, the constitution again was amended, and then other things enter. Then you move to we have federal character and the rest, impeachment of the president, separation of power, legislative power, um, the vice president, fusion, periodic election, fixed terms of office. Then we'll move to the the third Republican Constitution. Third Republican Constitution. Other things were made till the fourth, and then it was now amended into the Constitution was now amended in 2011. 2011. So that's why if you open the constitution, you see the Republic of Nigeria, the Constitution of the Republic of Nigeria. So
Hello,
that's it. I don't think
hello,
I.
hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear
I'm
you.
still on the because you talk about the first republic, that is 1963. The second republic you talk about 1979, abi? Then which one is the third? And I'm aware that the fourth is 1999. Which one is the third republic?
The third,
Yes,
the third is 1989.
1989.
Can you? Yes, that was when the fourth Republican Constitution was ushered in. Now, in the third Republican Constitution, remember, we have two-party system. Then it was like as if the military were almost taking over. I don't know if you remember. When we talk about military system of government, you will hear all of this. Where we have Babangida, and we therefore have two party system and the rest. When we get there, you actually understand. So the third Republican form of government is 1989. 1989. Hereby we have General Ibrahim Babangida came to power through military coup. That period now, the constitution, whenever a military takeover, the constitution is usually suspended. I hope you are aware.
Yes. Then which one is that
So
1983?
1983 is still under from 1979 down to 1983. All these are still under the second Republican government.
Second.
But during those periods, the coup that took the military took over. The constitution was then suspended like that. But then it's still under the second Republican form of government. The first is
Okay.
1963, second
Okay.
1979, the third 1989, then the fourth 1999. We've not heard of the fifth Republican form of government. So we have the fourth 1999.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm. Then now we'll talk about the military system of government. Military system of government. Now, when we talk about military system of government, um, this is a form of unconstitutional administration of the state country. Why they say unconstitutional? Because during this period, the constitution is actually suspended. I say the constitution is suspended. So they are not bound by the constitution. Mind you, we have in a Republican form of government presidential, we say supremacy of the constitution. Everybody is bound by the constitution. Nobody is above the law. But in terms of military, it's not like that. The form of unconstitutional administration of the state country by members of the armed forces based on martial laws. We have the decrees and edicts after successfully overthrowing the civilian government of the state of a country. Or the state of a country. I don't know if you understand. So after removing the civilian government, they took over. Now, Nigeria, for example, as one of the new states, was not left out of this. Now, on the 15th of January, is it 15? 15th of January 1966. 1966, 15th January 1966. That was the first military coup that took place in Nigeria, where Iran Sin was actually killed. Iran Sin. So the first coup that took place in Nigeria was 1966. That was after the first Republican form of government. Republican form of government, that was 1963. Then how many years later? 63, 64, 65, 66. The military took over. Now you actually hear why military actually takes over. It's not that they are coming in because they actually want to rule. No, just the way we have in is it Burkina Faso? No, there is a reason for them coming in. There is a reason for them coming in. Now you can you can actually see this question in your objective. When was the first military coup in Nigeria? 1966, 15 January 1966. Then we have another coup that took place in Egypt, 1952. Nigeria own was earlier, 1966. So other coups have been. Now the first coup that took place is 1963, and that was Togo. Togo was the first country to experience a military coup. Then if you can write that down, I think it will be helpful. So Togo was the first country to actually experience a military coup. Then you move to other countries like that to remove the government. The reason for military intervention, like I said, why do they actually why why does the military actually intervene? Now, one of the reason is lack of legitimate base. Lack of legitimate base. Now, this is the failure of what exercising political institution established by the legitimate base like legitimate government and the rest. Now, low level of economic development. Since even the way the country is now, if it were in those days, the military would have taken over because nothing is working in the country. So low level of economic development can actually make the military to intervene in a country, can lead to um, military intervening, taking over. Then regional differences. When you talk about regional differences, crisis between they're not united, fighting like that. So if they notice all of this, military can take charge. Take charge. Then tribal loyalties. Um, Actually, we are faced with this problem in Nigeria. Actually, tribal loyalty. We want to be loyal to only our tribe. I don't know if you understand. These people want to only be loyal to Yoruba. Igbos want to only be loyal to Igbos. Hausa want to be loyal to Hausa. No unity at all. There's no unity. You don't want to see each other. We don't want to hear about all those kind of differences can actually lead to intervention by the military. Then nationalism. In some states, the army is identified with nationalism. The protection of the general interests of the people, they protect the interests of the people and the rest. So when all these are noticed in a country, then the military can intervene. The military can intervene. Yeah, we have reason why people actually reject the military rule, even with their intervention. Like they actually did a lot. Like it was during this military intervention that most states were actually created. NYC came up, all this kind of thing. So they actually did a lot of good things, but it's just that they have full control of the state. Nobody can talk to them. If you do anyhow, you just like that. So people don't actually like these rigidness, this rigidity, and this the way they actually rule. So what is the reason for them rejecting them now? Reasons why people reject military rule in West Africa: undemocratic, undemocratic. In the democratic system of government, the decision of the citizens are actually entertained. You make the decisions are actually entertained. You can the government, they listen to the citizens. They don't just come and make decision and impose it. At least even when they make, they still listen to the masses. Like citizens, they have to bring their opinion. This is what we feel about the government. But in terms of military, it's very undemocratic, unconstitutional. It comes with force. Anything they are doing, force armies, and the rest. Now, it's automatic. It's automatic. Military government is automatic and not constitutional. It's very automatic. Now, we talk about the undemocratic. We talk about the um on automatic. Then suspension of the constitution, like I said, the constitution is usually suspended. Constitution is suspended, so there is no constitution, no supremacy of the constitution. So it allows the fundamental human right to be abused when the constitution is actually suspended. Human rights is no longer entertained. Nobody can make human rights is actually abused. People don't have their freedom, living in fear and the rest. So then it frustrates. It actually frustrates. Military will frustrate all efforts in establishing democratic government. Citizens don't have say. They cannot decide, they cannot make decisions because the military is there. Once they say this, everybody must follow. Once they say that, everybody must follow. So the citizens' opinion does not count and the rest. So they make rules as it pleases and everybody have to follow. If not, you you are gone. So that's just why people actually did not really buy the military rules and the rest. So with this, I'll say I've come to the end of this whole topic. It's actually very long. We've been doing this since 3 weeks now. So we're done with it. I don't know if you have any question from the beginning down to this very point. If you have question, you can ask because we actually spoke a lot. We talked about the executive, functions of the executive, the legislature, the judiciary bill, independence judiciary. We talk about government, unitary government, federal government, confederal, monarchy, republican, and now military. So if there's any question, please, you can ask. If there is no question, I'll call it a day.